Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's Caffeine for the Soul. And if you're enjoying these podcasts, I encourage you to check out our Inner Circle Platinum at michaelneill.org/Inner Circle. And you'll find access to all sorts of self-study courses and interactive webinars, and our members get automatic included in their membership places on Creating the Impossible and the Advanced course and other 3-week and 4 and 5 month courses that I run throughout the year, all available as part of the membership. So you can learn more and go deeper at michaelneill.org/Inner Circle. Now, the title, and it's a long title, I know it's a long title, but the title for this week's podcast, my first big book, it was actually my third book, but my first book where I really shared what I was seeing about the inside-out understanding and the stuff that I talk about in these podcasts each week, was called The Inside-Out Revolution, the only thing you need to know to change your life forever. But when I pitched the book to Hay House, the publisher, the original title, well, actually the original title was The Inside-Out Experiment, but the title that I'd come back to them with was The Inside-Out Revolution, the 2 things you need to know to change your life forever. And after a couple months of writing, they convinced me that it just sounded better to say the only thing you need to know. And at that point, I kind of had already thought, well, maybe the first of the 2 things is the more important one anyway. So if you haven't read the book, and for goodness sake, if you haven't read the book, maybe it's time. But if you haven't read the book, the only thing you need to know to change your life forever is that we're living in the feeling of our thinking, not the feeling of our circumstances, not the feeling of our world. We act as if, we speak as if, we experience life as if our circumstances are causing our experience. And if it's this kind of experience, I'm going to have a stressful experience. And if it's this kind of experience, I'm going to have a delightful experience. And if it's this kind of circumstance, I'm going to feel scared. And if it's this kind of circumstance, I can be happy. But all experience is created via the power of thought, the spiritual power of thought, the formless energy of thought becoming experience. So in effect, we live in a thought-created reality, a personal reality, a separate reality. But then we live as if everyone else is in the same reality as we are. And when you begin to see through that, when you begin to see thought as the source of your experience, it allows you so much more freedom of movement and so much more wisdom and well-being to pour into you, because you're not continually preoccupied with your memories and imaginings and habitual thoughts and feelings. But the original title of the book was because I'd seen even then that the other part of this that really changed people's lives was when they saw that however much habitual thinking and learned thinking we all have, there's a space within us beyond thought, before thought, a space of pure possibility, a space where insights come, where new and fresh ideas come. It's a space that I've called the space of infinite possibility. I did a podcast recently, I don't know which order I'm going to put them out in, but there's another one coming, or it's just come, called the realm of possibility, where we really can have new thought. And with new thought, we get a completely new experience of life. Now, I really want to make clear, the power of thought is the same. So when I say new and fresh, it's not from a different source. It's just new and fresh because it's coming from the origin, its original thought, instead of from memory, from remembered, habitual, learned, conditioned thought. In other words, I guess it is a different source. It's not a different power. The power of thought, the principle of thought, is simply a fundamental element in the human universe. But the difference between thinking that we're stuck with whatever thinking we've been in for most of our lives and realizing that in any moment, and that includes this one, something new can occur to us. Something brand new can come to mind. Something that maybe we heard before, but when it comes this time, we really get it. It's new and fresh. And when I first started to see that, it brought so much hope. It really felt like the cavalry coming to the rescue in one of those old westerns, where just when all was lost, the cavalry came and they saved the day, and knowing that in any moment the cavalry can come. In any moment, fresh thought can come. And when it does, your world instantly looks different. So in some ways, it's the difference between trying to get really good at memorizing a map so that you can walk through the room in the dark, or walk through whatever space you're walking through that your map is for in the dark, and realizing that in any moment the lights can come on. And when they do, you don't need a map, because you'll know what to do. You'll know where to go. It will be obvious to you. And that freshness, that newness, that capacity of thought, I often talk about as the deeper, coming from the deeper mind, living in and from the deeper mind. So we're going back before our memories, before our learned thoughts, to a space of pure potential, where we're going to the well instead of drinking stale water, old water that was bottled at some point in our lives and we've just kept going back to any time we were thirsty. And each time you go to the well, what comes from the well will be new and fresh and refreshing in a way that habitual thought never is, even if when we first had the thought, it was really helpful to us. And that's one of the more interesting things to me about this, is that often we'll have a new and fresh thought. We'll often have an idea come from out of the blue that's perfect. And then we try to remember it and live from it. It would be like if you're going through your life and it suddenly God speaks to you from out of the heavens and tells you exactly what to do, and it works out perfectly, and you carve that into a stone tablet and then try to refer back to it the next time you don't know what to do. And over time, you might accumulate like so many things on that stone tablet. You might even need 2 stone tablets to contain them all. But it's never going to work as well as it did when you heard it direct from the source, as when it came to you in just the right way, at just the right time. So even your new and fresh thoughts can become memories. They can become old and stale. And so until you're really comfortable with it, until you really know this is just how we work, this is just part of how we're made, it can be tempting to really hang on to the old thinking just in case the new one doesn't come. But you pretty much have to put down the old thinking to make space for the new one to come. It's like Sid Banks says in his book, The Missing Link, the Scottish mystic Sid Banks. He has a book of aphorisms called The Missing Link, and he talks about that in order to have a beautiful glass of freshly opened wine, you probably have to dump out the stale wine that's been sitting around in your glass with some, he doesn't say it this way, but in my mind, that's kind of like been there for 3 days with cigarette butts in it. Like, you gotta let go of what you think you know to make space for new and fresh to come. And if you start to play with this, if you start to explore this, if you start to open up for this, if you're willing to take a chance and not just go back to your memory, but go to the well, go to the space before thought, go to the quiet inside, you'll be amazed at how rich your life starts to become, at how much more life pours through you, and about how new and fresh and beautiful your experience of life becomes. Have fun, learn heaps, happy exploring, and I'll talk with you soon.